How's it going, guys? This is the first edition of TW Wrestling Talk that covers SmackDown. Um, this past week on SmackDown, to start off, we learned that we learned the both title world title matches for No Way Out. Um, thus far, other than those two matches, we have the Big Show and John Cena. Um, as far as as far as the WWE Championship match, we have CM Punk taking on Daniel Bryan and now Kane added into the mix, making it a triple threat. Um, my thoughts on that: it's a little odd how that story, how both World Championship, storylines have evolved the past couple weeks. I mean, just last week we had Kane and Orton and Del Rio in a number one contenders triple threat match for the World Heavyweight Championship match. And now here this week, Kane gets gets put into a WWE Championship match on SmackDown against CM Punk. It's a little strange to me how they did that, but they needed. I guess They just wanted SmackDown to have some kind of extra hype to it. You know, no Orton, and so I guess as far as that goes, as far as the match itself goes, it's set for No Way Out. I think I'm looking forward to it. I mean, Daniel Bryan and CM Punk, they had their chance at Over the Limit to put on a great match that which I think kind of lived up to the hype. They have such great chemistry together. I'm sure they'll have more one-on-one matches down the road. Main eventing pay-per-views, so they can always do that later. With Kane in the mix, I have no problem with that. I think it actually kind of helps. We got a triple threat for the WWE Championship at No Way Out. Kane for his age, he can still put on a good match. So, um, you know, I think it's interesting also how he's kind of, the in between guy. You know, he, Daniel Bryan's clearly the heel of the match, and CM Punk's the obvious face. So then you got Kane in the middle, which kind of makes it a little interesting. I don't know. Usually instead of two faces and a heel or two heels and a face, Kane seems like he's kind of in the middle now of the whole feud. So I'm looking forward to that match. I think that's pretty good. I'm always any match with Kane. He's a future WWE Hall of Famer for sure. So he's good. Fan of him. And and then of course we have the World Heavyweight Championship match with Sheamus and Del Rio, that was set last week when Del Rio became the number one contender. Um, I like what Sheamus is doing in the ring. You know, I like his promo in the beginning. It was pretty good. Typical Sheamus, just brogue kick out of nowhere. That was a nice, semi enjoyable way to open SmackDown. But I'm not looking that too forward to that match. Him and Del Rio. I definitely think it's a step down from the Fatal Four Way and his matches against Daniel Bryan. Well, if you want to call the match at WrestleMania match, but as far as opponents go, I mean, now it's just him and Del Rio. Del Rio, I don't see much in Del Rio as apparently WWE does. I don't really, he just doesn't. He's not taken too seriously as a heel. I mean, as far as a heel, as far as the top heels in WWE right now goes, I mean, Big Show. I mean, maybe not counting Brock Lesnar since right now he's kind of not around. Until that whole story comes back. But as far as heels go right now, I mean, Big Show to me is like the only one the only major heel that can be taken seriously right now. Jericho's suspended right now, so he doesn't count. And I mean, other than that, you don't. I mean, Daniel Bryan too. He's lately. I don't know. He's facing he's in the WWE Championship picture. So right now, I guess you can call him, you know, more of a Raw superstar at the time being in the past couple months. But Del Rio, I just think we can't, I can't really, I don't know. I don't think he's that great in the ring. Some people laud him for his in-ring skills. I don't. I mean, to me, he's just kind of punches and kicks and just not much intensity really. So I don't know this. I'm hoping Sheamus walks out with the title, and hopefully they can find him someone else. Hopefully a stronger opponent for Money in the Bank. Hopefully, we'll see what happens there. But yeah, I'm looking forward more to the WWE Championship match. I would say last month at Over the Limit I was looking forward to kind of both equally, but we'll see. We'll see if anything interesting happens, between those two on Raw next week or SmackDown. Next thing I want to talk about is Christian's recent face turn. Um, I since coming sudden, sudden face turn. As far as Christian becoming turning a back face on its own, I think, I have no problem with that. I think he can, Christian delivers, in matches, and on the mic, he can always deliver, whether he's a face or a heel. Um, you know, I, I, I think I think there was, maybe he could have. I think they could have maybe had him be heel longer. Maybe see what else he could do as a heel. But they decided to turn him back face, and I have no problem with that. What I do have a problem with, though, sort of, is how he's kind of been demoted to the Intercontinental Championship level. I don't really agree with this. I mean, to me, Christian should be up. He he's clearly had unfinished business with the World Heavyweight Championship, and the guy can deliver in the ring. He's a veteran, seasoned veteran, and he can deliver on the mic. To me, he's one of the most fun guys to watch. And now suddenly with some of the star power going in the next couple months, and Orton, and as SmackDown just kind of lost its a big face. So I mean, I think maybe Christian being down in the Intercontinental Championship level right now is kind of maybe holding things back. I mean, you know, Cody Rhodes is a mid Carter, and who did he face? This past SmackDown, he faced Tyson Kidd, who isn't even on TV that much anymore at all. So that just goes to show you, I really think WWE made a mistake, on that note. They could have had, they could have someone else. They should have had someone else, I think, for the Intercontinental Championship. I have no problem with Christian being a face, but I just think the way that they brought him back and made him a face, winning the Intercontinental Championship, I think he's above that phase now. I mean, come on, I want to see I want to see Christian back in the World Heavyweight, Championship picture. You know, is in the sometime this year. I mean, I guess toward maybe later year we'll see how long he holds the Intercontinental Championship. But you know, they've made him less relevant, even though he came back. They didn't make him as relevant as they could have made him, and so now we might have to wait and see when maybe he becomes more relevant again, because I mean, they had him guest commentator and like a 3-minute match or something. I think he's being underused. I like how Big Show has been suddenly used more, which is great. But now it's like at the expense of other people. Sometimes it's just people get moved down the card, and Christian got moved down the card. They had a chance. He came back. They had a chance to maybe fill an empty spot, but now it's like they're just leaving him hanging in the mid card, sort of the mid card, as Intercontinental Champion. But I think he should be in the main event picture. So we'll see. We'll see where that goes. I mean, I'm guessing it's going to be him and Cody Rhodes for a rematch at No Way Out. But we'll see where that goes. Lastly, the suspensions. Two suspensions. WWE hit pretty hard this past week with suspensions. Um, not as much with the Chris Jericho suspension, but as probably all of you know by now, he was suspended for a month for kicking the Brazilian flag. That's very that's considered like a criminal offense or something. It's not. And even the Brazilian, the fans knew that he was just kind of playing his character, but you know, he had WWE had to take action for that, and because it's really it's really looked down upon there in Brazil. So I think WWE could have maybe looked into their their laws a little more, maybe not to get so that Chris they know ahead of time you can't that Chris Jericho shouldn't have done that, but it wasn't totally a way of him knowing that ahead of time. So but they did what they had. They had to I guess they had to suspend him, and I mean, I guess kind of gives him the summer off in a way. He's gonna tour later in the summer with his band Fozzy, and I mean, when he comes back from suspension, I mean, he'll have like a couple weeks. I don't even know if they're gonna use him. I mean, for that really short time when he goes before he goes on tour. I mean, I could just see him maybe having the summer off, and then maybe he'll come back in the fall. We'll see. And but then the Orton suspension, which is a little harder of a hit considering it just kind of came out of nowhere, and that he's a regular. He's often considered the number 2 or number 3 guy right now in WWE. This is his second time getting nailed with this wellness policy. What exact drug he took or whatever. I guess we don't know, but the point is, he's suspended now for 60 days and one more strike, as they say, and he's fired apparently. Um, they have to discipline him, and because nobody's bigger than the WWE. They have to take action, and Orton just has to learn from this, and he has to clean up. You know he can't. He's a big guy. He's one of the faces, major players of the company right now, and just not having him would be a big blow to WWE, and big blow to his reputation. I'm sure he's how they're gonna fill this void the next 60 days. I guess we'll see. I mean, he's basically SmackDown just lost. For 2 months, they're probably. I mean, kind of top face is gone. Um, then again, of course, the brand extension is kind of out the window right now. But in general, Orton is basically a SmackDown superstar at the end of the day, and SmackDown's basically either way. WWE just lost the top face for a couple months. Now this can be a blessing in disguise because Orton, there's a spot. The next 2 months there's a spot up for grabs. Anyone, major face, someone could become a new major face. I'm not totally sure who could do that, but you never know. I mean, look what happened last summer with how CM Punk just kind of he turned face without trying to turn face. Without them trying to turn him face, he kind of just turned face against the face of WWE last year. So you never know. You never know who will jump in, and fill a spot like that. Quite frankly, I'm not sure. I mean, I think chances are, I mean they'll coast along maybe, and Orton will come back, and things will kind of be back to normal. but there could be an outside chance maybe that the Orton heel turn arrive, that some people have been waiting to see happen, that they've kind of been teasing, maybe it comes back, maybe he comes back as a heel, you know. The good thing is he'll be back in time for SummerSlam, so that should be a good boost to SummerSlam's card. Um, I'm not sure what they'll, since the next couple pay-per-views might be lacking without Orton and Jericho. I'm not sure what they'll do with the Brock Lesnar Triple H story. If they'll maybe move that up a little bit, we'll see. But you know, Orton Orton being gone, when someone's gone for an extended period of time, like like this, like 2 months, you know when someone's gone like that, the chances of a character change, or a heel or face turn, does tend to the chances of it does tend to become higher, going through WWE's history. I mean, you know this when they really get a chance to sit back and evaluate a character and how they can bring someone back. It's easier to do that when there's not other heels and faces that you have to build the card around, or that you have to book matches around. So when Orton comes back, I think that the chances could be higher that he comes back heel, and I think that would be good. Um, I mean, I think his face run just kind of he's more suited as a heel. His face run's kind of waning a bit, so and I gotta admit, I did get a little excited when Orton did that surprise RKO on Sheamus after that accidental brogue kick a few weeks ago. So we'll see. So I guess not going to be much talk about Orton in the near future. Another thing, I've heard rumors or something that on his Twitter he's posted about someone asked him about why he doesn't use the punt anymore, and that the punt is that he said that it was banned or something. And but I mean, Twitter with the WWE superstars is Twitter. He could, maybe he could be teasing like a possible story in the future or something where the punt, because maybe if he does turn heel or something, maybe that's how he turns heel. Maybe he starts punting people again and they don't like it, or something like that. We'll see. But I hopefully, the bottom line is, hopefully Orton learns his lesson, and he stays clean, he cleans himself up, whatever, because it would be a huge blow to WWE if he did, if he was fired. So, and as far as Chris Jericho is concerned, I mean, really didn't mean anything. He was just playing his character. He admits that he loves Brazil, and he'd like to be there again. He wished they'd come there more often, but it is what it is. I mean, it's just one of those silly things. He got suspended. He's no hard feelings though. But on the other hand, Orton, hopefully he cleans up, and it'll be interesting to see how he comes back. But that's another that's a couple months away. So we'll see how WWE carries along without him the next couple months, and if maybe someone new comes in, rises up, and if we see a new star that gets a maintained spot at the main event level. All right, that'll do it for this edition of TW Wrestling Talk. Please subscribe. Get your friends to subscribe. Looking to help this channel grow. Love to get questions come in. I will answer them if they at this point, if they are suitable for me to answer. If I can just look for anything really to ask, and we'll give them an answer. Again, just please subscribe, post comment to the channel, ask, post a question to the channel, whatever. Just please help the channel grow. I appreciate the support. Thanks. See you next time.